Okay, I suspect that many of you understood that that is our sign to come back to your laptops, bring your coffee, and bring a friend, and let's join together for the next part of the presentation. And the next part of the presentation is indeed the part where we are putting some of our customers on stage. First out is Alessandro Cernigliaro. With an academic background from management engineering from the Politecnico di Milano. He can boast an extensive operational and commercial experience in retail distribution environments before being appointed supply chain director at Leroy Merlin. I've been practicing this, Italy. In February 2018, he has worked at COO at ePrice for 7 years and is in fact what we consider one of the pioneers of e-commerce in Italy. Welcome, Alessandro. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ida, and hello, everyone. I just want to take the opportunity to, let's say, understand how we are in the sort of journey that even Michael has presented us. I think he went to the future also. We are at the beginning, but we even discovering a lot of things. So we will go through different topics. I want just to show you just some information about us. Leroy Merlin Italy belongs to a wider group. This ADEO is specialized in worldwide in DIY. Particularly in Italy, we have 49 stores. We are serving around more than 30 million customers a year with more than 40K SKU per store, and overall around 150,000 different SKU we sold. And we also work with a lot of artisans to build up restructure houses and whatever. And we are moving around 35,000 trucks per year. Our logistic networks are obviously the 49 stores is an opportunity to be local, and 2 national DC. From where we are serving those 49 stores, and even starting the centralization of the B2C business. The channels, store and web, are the 2 ways we are doing business, and we are still able to do home delivery from DC, ship from store, and click and collect in our stores. So just to jump in the team, we are coming from a situation. We are a commercial company, so as all our company in our group, they started always from the local. So we never started from having a DC, but starting from a store. And so the store is and was and is and it will be the heart of our systems and our network. And particularly in the stores, people are very focused on the commercial side. And so we in the past we build let's say something very, let's say, simple, even in terms of procurement, where when we introduced the DC, we make it simple years ago to predict and forecast the demand for the store and not the demand for the customer. And actually is exactly something that we are solving, implementing RELEX. Why? Because everything starts from the customer. We always say that's customer centric, even in terms of forecasting and demand and procurement. The best thing is to understand what the customer needs and aggregate those demand all over the flow you are building, so the B2B or the B2C. And this is exactly what will give us in the future the more reality environment where we can do then decide what to buy and what to sell. So that's why we started the partnership with this with the RELEX, and we are at the beginning of the journey. So we are in the phase of deploying the automatic replenishment allocation and stock optimization. We'd say that with some target, some key objectives we want to reach. Everything we want to do in supply chain now is be efficient and release time for sales, because the stores become much more logistic hub rather than sales. And so ideally with the change, so procurement has been done until some days ago in the stores. So everything was decentralized, and we decided to centralize together with the RELEX implementation, centralize the procurement. And so in terms of productivity, we will pass from 120 planners into 20. And even in terms of, obviously, reference per planner will be increased a lot. Sorry. And so we will move the culture and of the stores from where we are today. So you need to order product to fulfill your shelf, to please be focused on stock quality and reliability, because then the algorithm and the systems will do what they can do better than you. And another point in the organization it's years. I think it's all the retailer has. It's a continuous balance between overstock and stock out. We can say that the perfect stock will never exist. So we are continuous to predict sales to have the right one. But let's say that doing things manually and doing things too local, you have too much effort with so much stores. So here you can see a list of things we are now approaching that we will probably compensate with different behaviors, even procurement behaviors of the stores. And now they are coming out, and then we need to even starting to address those things, how we do merchandise, if we need to localize merchandise, and or the hoarding issue we have during promotion, all the stuff they are now on our table. And another point, it was really amazing for us, the calculation power we have found in RELEX. I think is the killing point in the industry, is the calculation speed. I can say now how much time it took to make a forecast for us, but those are the figures we are now start measuring. So I mean, it's seconds and it's hours to have that means every day have the picture, and you can take decision wider, and and it's really instant decision. And you can say that the planners move their time, the majority of their time, from doing things and doing transaction, moving to understand things, understand the environments, and do simulation. That's will bring us huge result. And because of the changes we are doing, there are a lot of things that are impacting the company, because then the planners in the stores change activity. So we need to change those mission. We need to create insights. We need how to create and to make the store collaborate with the central function, because at the end, the visibility of the shelves is just if you are in front, right? And so we are in a cultural change also, and we are defining a lot of mission, and we are also building because that's our main mission. We just don't want to say we centralized something, because we do not want to deresponsibilize. I mean, the sales guy need to be empowered, and they need to be responsible of the stock they have in front of them, because it's the one they need to sell. So we move from a decentralized procurement to a collaborative procurement, and we built a lot of tools. I mean, we are building a lot of tools around RELEX in order to have a more standardized process to create promotion, to create new ranges, and to communicate not only with RELEX but even with the stores. And there are already really brilliant results on that. But overall, the first benefit we are seeing is the visibility. Visibility and planning is clearly something we are extracting as value from the first second from RELEX. The capability to do forecasting and planning of sales allow us to even predict volumes or along the chain. So from the last mile until the supplier level, and with all those visibility, we are starting checking our capacity. So we are monitoring our capacity in each single nodes, and this is a great advantage to understand. And for all of us, I think that's the pandemic period where we close and reopen and all the volumes came down, up and down continuously, how capacity is crucial to guarantee the service level to the stores, but mostly to the customers. So together with RELEX, we are starting, we are starting creating those real-time report that give us visibility. We are starting challenging, and you will see some figures on the accuracy of this data and how we can plan better our fleet, our employee in depot, and even our thousands of employees in the stores. So in fact, the volume planning is what we are putting in place when you're looking on the expected deliveries, because we can have already order already placed with some date, and with the monitoring of all the lead time for the supplier, we have already expected, projected, because they are still in the forecast. And then with the sales, we are able to have a predict stock, so predict volume, because then we add information of the dimension of the product, so cube meters, square meters, and number of lines. Everything is needed in the supply chains to monitor operation. And now we are able to I mean, we are at the beginning for sure, because we know that there are other modules that will help us even to work on the replenishment based on those constraints we have, because as soon as you have the visibility, you can choose whether adapting if you can adapt your resources or adapt the forecast in order to guarantee the service level. And so now we are in this path. Fantastic. We are able to anticipate capacity problem, and we are working to go deeper, and also to start sharing along the supply chain those information in the way we can today. So even to supplier or to transporter, or at the end even to the store, to improve their staff planning. So overall, we are start playing with that. And you can see that, I mean, after a couple of months, we are already able to do a lot of check along the chain, and with those yearly, I mean, 52 weeks, every week we adapt it, and we see that we're ready on staff planning. We are start having good result. We have been starting working with the DC, with the stock inbound, the outbound, picking and the cross-dock activity, and even the stock evolution among the warehouses. And it's interesting now that in June, when, let's say, we were growing again after the closure, and but it will be, even the operation will be more stable. We were able to monitor here. We do some of apple and pears, but just because to have an indicator of where we are, just 2% deviation from what we have forecast overall along the logistic flow, and this is just logistic flow in the DC. So fantastic. We didn't have those visibility, and it's amazing looking at the journey that Miko and Michael has just shown you, that those will be more and more automatic, more and more helping us to take decision or automatize some decision, in all the nodes of the chains. So that's our experience for the first months. We are playing with these tools, let's say, with this and with these toys, and I'm open for questions.
All right, thank you, Alessandro, for telling us about your experience with RELEX. And we do have some good questions for you. So let's see if we can make you tell us a little bit more about RELEX. So there is someone from the audience who is sounds to maybe be in the middle of a RELEX implementation. It's not 100% clear, but we are discussing currently that using or having RELEX optimizing the stock levels impacts the store look and feel because it can result in empty shelves, is what they're saying. So how do we improve the shelf looks with minimal impact to the great stock efficiency that we have achieved?
Great question.
I think so too.
Great question. Is exactly where we are. First, the interesting things is that, as I said before, it's not just an implementation of the tool, is moving everything in the company, because that means merchandising. And as soon as you are defining the right quantity that makes the shelves in a good shape, then the point is the support you're using, for example. So we have open tables with our procurement department, with merchandising, that should be more dynamic than as it was. It was standard because you were standardizing, and then the locally, each store in the past adapt, let's say, more the quantity than the support. And that's why I always say, RELEX, it's great to bring you from 100 kilos as I am to 80. It's fantastic. 80, you are exactly perfect. But probably you will tell me around 85 to say, please stop. You are better like this, like 80. So the point is exactly the how let's say how you present your shelves. And there are cases where we are opening new stores, so we are start thinking if in all the 1,000 square meters we should put product and all our reference rather than do showrooming. Now it's interesting because I think it's a journey. There is not an answer. There are some quick wins for sure. Quick wins that are, for example, working on the low value product that's always impact less the stock value, and so let's say the investment to be probably higher with the minimum quantity you put on the shelves, and to be very accurate in the one with the higher value. But then you need to open tables with all the company to understand which will be the new shape of the stores based on that. Because on the other side, you will release million of stock, so million of capacity of investment, right? If you are you have 500 million stock and reduce 100, you can understand what you can do with 100 million, right?
Exactly. So that's a very good advice. So focus on the things that really have an impact. Focus on those first. I think that's a very good answer from Alessandro. So we have another question, which is more on the change management side of things. This is from Christian in the audience. So could you, Alessandro, please elaborate a bit on your experiences in terms of cultural change in the stores? He says that the stores probably perceive this change as losing influence.
Let's say we are in the middle of the deploy. So the experience of the first part, it's a matter of how you engage them. I mean, we are not saying them, you were controlling the stock before, so you buy what you want to sell. But we want to help you to have the right product to sell. So you just define which is the product strategy, and we help back to release time on understanding how much quantity or where, and then be in front of the shelves and stay with the customer to sell those products. We are just let's say pushing again and again on the benefit they can take. And every time we go live with the store, with each single store, let's say it's impressive how the visibility, even the problem you can have with the stock out because the parameter or whatever, the visibility you can have, or the reason, you can catch the reason in seconds. You can, for us, let's say that procurement system were a black box because it was like that. I mean, it's the story of a company that they build in the years a product, and then there is let's say now we are doing a complete change where we are putting everything in a sort of where time calculation power of data is doing the difference, right? And so as soon as they see that, so the visibility they can have, because they have the complete visibility of what happens, they're following, they're reporting problems, but without having the impression that someone is keeping out from them something, because the risk at the end is that they lose let's say the empowerment and the responsibility of what happens in the stock. We say if you keep the stock as much as with the right quality, and you do more stock take, you count more, as much as let's say the tool, the environment will help you to have the right product when your customer is there. You do more sales at the end.
Exactly. So focus instead of having a right quantity or a balance in the store. That's a very good advice. And yes, give them a carrot. And the next question is actually ties very nicely into what you just discussed, Alessandro. So Sven from the audience is also wondering then, to ensure this visibility that you're talking about throughout the supply chain, how much new data did you have to generate or start collecting? For example, master data from the products, limits for the space, capacities, etc.
Yes, for sure, master data. I mean, we had already in the past. We didn't use because the system were not able even to do that. But we do a lot of queries with different systems. We took time at the end, and so yes, you need let's say basic data, not much more. And we will even invest to have more precise data on the, let's say, on the other side, on the constraints. That means the capacity of the warehouse. I think that with the module we are planning to do in next year after this rollout, that is a capacity planning module, will help us to put in the system even our capacity constraints, and then we will be able to decide how to adapt our procurement against the constraints, because the system will you will have a problem here. You can increase capacity, so you just push the button, okay, and the order will be like that. Or you need to adjust, because capacity is capacity. I mean, you cannot open a warehouse in 2 days. It takes 2 weeks, for example. So if the order comes in 10 days, you are forced to adapt your procurement, and that will be the next step. Actually, we are doing those constraints analysis outside because we are receiving all the forecast from the systems and all the volume planning, but we want to run on that because it's a quick win.
Thank you. Another good answer. We are jumping, people are probably hearing your answer to the last one and then asking a new question on that. So I'll go back slightly to what we already discussed earlier. And we have someone who's wondering, what was the one biggest challenge during the change process? And they are also adding here, especially regarding responsibilities. I'll let you decide how to answer.
Let's say that the biggest challenge was I would say was to align the board, the sales guys on the benefit of having a company with less cash utilization, good store presentation, and more sales, because another is we want to reduce the stock out. And without including all the other things that are amazing, like reducing discounts for markdown, etc. Because at the beginning it was a dream. Yes, every company wants that. How you build it, this is a tool we can work on. So it was sharing with them what happened to your previous customers. So we visit some customer in Nordics and having them in the project. So we always have a sales guy in the project, one from the store, one store leader, one appro from the stores. I mean, and so having them, it seems that it takes more time to convince people because you need to, but at the end, it's like a snowball. If it works, it began with more power.
That's a very, very good answer. And
at the end, they want the product. So if they want the product, it's better that they are pushing it.
Yeah, I think many people in the audience can probably relate with you who has tried to push through a process project like this. And I just remembered that we had Jarno, who was working with you and taking you to the Swedish retailer that you were visiting. This was during the winter, I believe. So he actually called me and he was wondering if I had any tips about driving on icy roads. So that's a little bit of a throwback there. Okay, so last question for you, Alessandra, before we wrap it up. So we had lots of good questions here for you. This is a question from Australia. So they're saying that we just implemented RELEX in Australia and we are seeing fantastic results already. Thank you for that. Glad to hear it. Share it, please. Sharing is caring. But there are still stores that are struggling to grasp why the stock is leaner. So why is there less stock in the stores? What approach did you take to assure them that RELEX is going to order better than actual people pushing the button?
Okay, I mean, just to give you with the previous systems, we had around between 30 and 40% of lines touched by people. Okay, because different reason, because the stock was not correct, because they want to adapt, because the minimum presentation was not correct. I mean, everything that was covered with, I put more product. Now with the RELEX, we are just touching probably between 3 and 4%, and we are at the beginning. So I mean, we are even adjusting things that you are at the beginning, some parameters or whatever, and etc. And so we are also monitoring the stock out level in order to understand if parameters are correct, and we are particularly looking with some algorithm we have built the level of, let's say, of beauty of the shelves. Okay, because at the end That's the main problem. I mean, we are after 1 month, it's clear the algorithm that the system, the parameter algorithm, they works. They do errors because there are data that are not correct. So the system is going very well. And the point now is we have some levers to have the stock, let's say, wider than what RELEX suggests, and that's exactly the lever we want to start to understand. If we want to reduce 20 days of stocks, we probably can. How to reduce 5, understand if we can adapt even with the merge, then do other 5, then do other 5, probably, and understand where we can go. Because at the end, it is an adaptation of the shelves.
Exactly. So with the control that you now have of the inventory, then it's something that you can also manage with those stores that are maybe wondering why it's slimmer.
And by the way, we are a fan of customers that are happy to enter our stores and see, wow, how it's beautiful. So we need to have those things, and this is why we are together with the sales guy to work on that.
Let's leave it at that, Alessandro. Thank you so much for your presentation and for providing all these good answers. I wish you all luck in ensuring pretty shelves.
Thank you.
Now for the audience here, we have another 5-minute break coming up. The time is now 15:43, so probably 14:43 or something else where you guys are. And we will be back in 5 minutes from now, and you will hear the familiar sound of our video starting to play. So let's see again in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes.